Hi, Jen.
Hey, Jesse.
Welcome back.
Well, thanks.
I'm excited for this episode because it is like a mix of like what we both love, like creating great content and efficiency,
Yes.
which is super fun, but also I think informative and helpful. I think we see so many clients struggle with creating content and getting it out there, and people just being so overwhelmed, especially recently with like Instagram being like, you got to create 14 videos a week. And it's like, oh my God, how do you even start? And people just get so paralyzed that they just don't do anything. So anyway, I'm excited about this.
Me too.
What's your high for the week?
My high and low are the same.
What are they?
We just moved out of the city.
Mm.
I know. So
I am losing people to the suburbs like flies, like left and right. Everyone's leaving.
I know.
We're
I
gonna
never
stay.
thought it would happen. Maybe I was naive, but I was here in the city for 13 years.
Mhm.
And we just moved out. We're still in between homes. However, I'm excited because it feels like it's time to go do something new.
Yeah.
Our routine here was starting to feel a little bit stale.
Yeah.
So it feels like it's time for something new. We're really excited about the next step.
Yeah. I think it'll be really good for you guys. And it's honestly, I think where you're going to end up is not too far. So
Yes,
you can still drag me out there sometimes.
exactly. I'll still be very close.
I always joke that I get like this suburb headache if I'm like in the suburbs for too long. I'm just like, got to get back to the city. Like too much fresh air out here.
Yeah.
Not that like, I don't know. We live in like we have a yard and everything, but anyway.
Yeah, but still, I mean, last night I had the most suburban moment. Matt was like, oh my gosh, come to the window. And I'm like, what is it? My entire family goes running to the window and it's like a parade of skunks. I was like, okay, I guess here's where we're at.
Yeah, that's the burbs.
I don't know. So you share what's your lows and highs for the week?
Oh my God. What are my lows? God, I didn't think of any. What's my low?
Oh, you're still pregnant.
Oh, I'm still pregnant. That's my low. That sounds so bad. I'm incredibly grateful, obviously, and happy baby's healthy and everything. Oh, my low. I'll give you my low. My hand swelled this week. I was hoping I would miss the swelling. Last time I didn't really swell, but I also had Teddy in November. So the end was like, it was cold outside. Yesterday morning, I realized that my hands were so swollen. Like I barely got my rings off. I was like pulling for like 5 minutes.
And you had a freak out moment, which is not like
Yeah, I had a little, just because I don't know, I was just like, oh my, like you're always like sudden swelling could be like preeclampsia. And so I had a little bit of freak out, but I'm totally fine. And yeah, so I had to take all my rings off, which sucks. I don't know. I never take my rings off. Do you take your rings off?
No.
I like never. Like some people.
I mean, I do to put on lotion, but like I don't.
Oh, I don't even do it. But like I just always have my rings on.
Yeah.
So I feel like very naked without them. And it's not fun to be swollen. But that's my
What's
low.
your high?
What's my high? This is a bad one because I feel like it's sacrilegious in Chicago to say this, but I'm so excited for fall. I am like so excited that we are 6 weeks out.
You're always pumped for fall and for Krista Kringle Christmas.
I know. Like it's especially because I like won't be pregnant. I'll get to drink red wine.
Yeah.
Like I'll get to like do all the things. Teddy's like old enough and Emmy too, like to enjoy Halloween this year. I think it'll just be like, I don't know, a really lovely fall season. And yeah, it's just honestly, we've gotten such a nice summer, so I really shouldn't complain. And but yeah, I'm like the end is just a little tough again. Pregnancy, I know I'm still complaining. But yeah, I'm very excited for fall. Like, and I think like I'm seeing more fall things. I'm getting all the targeted ads on Instagram for like Pottery Barn, and
I haven't seen any.
Oh, I've seen all of them. They are like, oh, we're ready for her. So that's exciting. I'm glad that it's like 6 weeks away and that yeah.
Well, we've got a great episode today. I feel like, Jesse, this is your ultimate topic. How to create a content calendar.
Yes.
And save hours.
We think that people get paralyzed with content creation because they try and do it on the fly. And that is the worst way. It's the best way to drive yourself crazy. It's the worst way to be effective and efficient. I think oftentimes we have people come to us and they're like, I want 1 million followers on Instagram or everywhere, whatever. And it's like, well, why? Like, that's always my biggest question. It's like, why do you want 1 million followers? Like, what is that going to do for your business? Because the reality is that most businesses only need, I think like there's that book, it's like 100 loyal followers or something. But like, I always say like 1,000, let's say, to like really create a community that is actually like super fans and supporters and really love your business. And if you have that, then they'll do the work for you to like spread the word and share everything you're doing. So with that, I think that what we see a lot is that people are just throwing spaghetti at the wall with social media in general. And I think it's so important to have a strategy. And I often see that people don't have any sort of strategy. You love strategy with anything.
I do, because then you're anchored in your goals.
Yeah, no, I agree. And to get to that strategy, I think like you got to think like, what are your goals? Are you looking for sales? Are you looking for more community? Are you looking to get people to your website? Are you looking for people to sign up for an email list? Like, what do you want out of it? Because it can't just be.
And why?
Yeah, and why? Because it can't just be to like get 1 million followers. You can have 1 million followers that do absolutely nothing to grow your business. I mean, hopefully you wouldn't get to 1 million and have no one, but still, you know, you could buy every single follower and cheat and have nothing to show for it. And it's like, why? I think that it's such a vanity metric that honestly at this point is dated because you just don't need it. And often it's harder to get those follows these days. And you don't necessarily even need someone to follow you to convert to a customer.
True.
You need great content. You need like a strategy. You need a brand that resonates with people, but you don't need someone to follow you for them to become your customer. Hopefully at some point they would like to follow you because they want to support and like be part of that community.
Well, and I think once you understand your goals, then you can start to figure out how often should you be posting and what channels should you be posting to.
Yeah, I think like one of the things we've uncovered recently is that Instagram and Facebook are just tough. They are, I mean, we've known that for a while, but like, I think especially in the past year, it is, and I think they're even trying to change it because they're losing creators. But there are other channels right now that you can grow on. And we don't think that it's like abandoned Instagram, abandoned Facebook time. I think a lot of businesses still need a presence on there. But instead of like draining yourself and putting 1 million hours into creating content on Instagram or on Facebook, see if there's another channel that your brand can activate on that makes more sense for you. Pinterest is a huge, huge gold mine right now. If you can like learn just kind of the basics and start putting out content. Pinterest stories, I keep calling them stories. What do they call them?
Idea pins.
Idea pins have been like blowing up. They've become a huge thing. And I think that a lot of our clients are seeing a lot more traction there. And a lot more growth and community being built on Pinterest that is also then transferring over to Instagram. It doesn't mean that like you can't grow on Instagram at all, but there is oftentimes overlap. It's how a lot of bloggers get found out in the first place, just even from years ago. It's like people find them on Pinterest and then click over and follow them on Instagram.
It's funny you say that. So I actually get a couple DMs every week from people who find me on Pinterest. They find my kitchen on Pinterest. And
Jen's kitchen is Pinterest famous, as it should be. It's really cute. Her old kitchen, I guess now, but yeah, it's super
and I'm
cute.
Flattered that it's Pinterest
How many like views does it have or whatever, clicks, impressions?
It can get up to 500,000 impressions a month.
That's insane. And that's the other thing. It's like I think it's easier to go viral. Well, and I should say there are certain.
That's the only thing I have ever done that's gone remotely viral. Just to be clear.
I think there are industries that play even better. And again, it's not always Pinterest. Maybe it is TikTok. Maybe that, there are a lot of platforms and just knowing where you should play and where you should put your time.
And diversifying. It's almost like investing.
Yeah.
You diversify how much time and content and energy goes into each platform.
Yep.
And there's a different role for each platform as well. I mean, I personally find Instagram to be a big credibility play for brands. And it also serves as a secondary website.
Yep. Because people will now go to Instagram before they go to your website.
Right.
Which
And
is
it's
also
almost-
why it's important for your brand to look professional and look put together on Instagram.
Yes. And it's almost easier to figure out what a brand stands for on Instagram versus going to their website.
Yeah, I agree.
So we should share one of our tricks with them.
Yeah.
About how we plan content.
So when we're doing like a content calendar, when we're even like putting together a strategy and the execution with clients, we generally pick like 3 to 6 themes for each client. Sometimes it's a little bit more depending on the industry, exactly what they're doing and what their goals are. But we like to do that because, and we do it with our own content as well. When you're staring at a blank canvas, I'm like beating a dead horse with this. I think I said this. But when you're staring at a blank canvas, it's so hard to like know where to start, know which color to pick up, what to do. When you start with like, okay, on Monday, like let's think of like a liquor brand. My bar is next to us. So, but like if you're a spirits brand, on Monday, we're going to post a cocktail. On Tuesday, we're going to post a picture of
maybe it's a food pairing.
The bottle, right? Or a food pairing. On Wednesday, we're going to post a food pairing, I don't know, a bottle, whatever. So basically when you look at the grid, you know that like this box I need to fill with this box I need to fill with this. And so it, instead of just like being like, where do I come up with this content, or like looking at someone else's grid and being like, God, this is great, I should do something like this, which you still can do to get inspiration, but like you have something that aligns with your strategy.
It becomes a formula.
Yeah. And it's a formula that you can follow that you just know you have to kind of like plug and play with those photos. And it's also great when you're shooting content, when you're doing like photo shoots, because then you kind of know you can do a shot list. You can like put together what you need and know consistently like what you're missing. If you were like, oh, I don't have any shots of cocktails, I don't have any shots of this, you can get more of those.
Yeah. It's like, so to give an example, my blog, my personal blog is about motherhood, running a business, and home.
Mm-hmm.
And home can also include entertaining, but entertaining has been on the back burner with COVID. So anytime you look at my Instagram grid, you will find something about business, something about home, and something about motherhood. And there's a formula to it so that people consistently see how you come to life.
Yeah. And that when you go to your page, it's, you know, I know there's kind of this debate about whether the grid matters or the first 9 boxes. I think it still does because like you said, yes. I think it serves as a secondary website. But I think that when people click over, you want them to get a quick taste of like who you are, what your brand is, what you're doing.
Yeah, because the average person will flip through your profile 3 times, which is roughly 30 boxes. Mm-hmm. So you want to give a clean and clear message in those 30 boxes.
Yeah. And I also think that if you don't have like your rotating themes, if you don't have your rotating themes, then like, for example, if I had all like fashion on my Instagram, that wouldn't be like a good representation of like who I am, what I do, what I stand for, what my brand is.
Yep.
Because that's not, you know, but like it could happen if I happen.
You'd probably also never get an offer for like a motherhood brand collaboration.
Right. Because it's just not that wouldn't be aligned. So I think it's important to definitely represent what themes represent your business. And then also it makes it easier for you to just plug and play and put that content in those boxes.
And setting themes, if you're running a business, is actually a great way to bring your reasons to believe to life. Mm-hmm. So let's say you have 3 core values that your brand stands for. And maybe you're a clothing brand and you use organic cotton and you have some kind of sustainable process. Mm-hmm. Depending on how many values you have and also what your brand voice stands for, you can create a theme that actually brings those to life so that your consumers start to naturally learn what your brand is about.
Yeah, totally.
So then it's important to set your focus for the month. And we do this on a monthly basis for our clients. Mm-hmm.
I think this is great. Again, we started with strategy, then we go down to themes in general, you know, for your whole grid. And then now we're like setting your focus for the month. This is important because you can like look up relevant holidays And then make smaller goals for each month. I think that in general, you pick like larger goals, but then maybe there's 1 month where you have a new product and you want to like sell out of that, or you have, I don't know, so an event coming up that you want to promote. So you want to make sure that that can all like go in organically to your grid. And so when you set your focus for the month, you really get to narrow in and like pick something. And then also with those goals, you can measure against like what's working and what's not working and what content is resonating with people.
And that's where I think when you have a formula and you have 3 to 6 spots per month, you understand how frequently you should be, or I'm sorry, 3 to 6 spots per week that you rotate through.
Mhm.
You understand how frequently you should be selling versus sharing valuable content.
Yes, that's a big one to remember with planning a content calendar. You can't sell in every box.
No.
You should be selling 20% of the time, I think is best practice, and adding value 80% of the time. So with all of that, we should have mentioned that before, but like with the 3 to 6 themes, that does not mean that you get to sell in every single thing. And I think some, again, like clothing or something, or retail, e-commerce, I mean, is maybe slightly different because you can still do like the tags, I think, in some photos without like a hard sell, like the shopping tags.
Right.
But generally, you want to be adding value and entertainment and inspiration most of the time before you start to sell.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. And then pick a planning service. So we'll just tell you now, we absolutely love Planoly for Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
And we actually have a link we can share with you in the show notes. But we love Flowdesk for our newsletters.
Yes, Flowdesk is fantastic. Flowdesk is, I used MailChimp forever, and MailChimp I think is very user-friendly. And I was like, I don't know why I need to switch from MailChimp. And Flowdesk like blows it out of the water. Like something that would take me 30 minutes on MailChimp takes me 5 minutes on Flowdesk. It's so easy, so user-friendly, and looks fantastic. The emails are amazing.
Yeah, and we have links for all of these. So we'll share them all in the show notes so that you can easily click. I think we can get you 50% off on Flowdesk.
Oh, cool.
Yes. Tailwind for Pinterest is a lifesaver.
And a game changer.
Yes.
So that you don't have to be on it all the time, but you can still, like, if you can dedicate, I don't know, Jen, you're probably better, but like, let's say 30 minutes a week.
Yeah, 30 minutes to an hour a week. And you can I planned a month's worth of content in 2 hours the other day.
You can like 10 times your Pinterest numbers.
Yes.
Within
a month. The secret sauce to Tailwind is that they have communities.
Yeah.
And communities are like legitimate engagement pods.
Yeah.
Where
it's not like sketchy Instagram pods. It's completely legitimate.
Yeah. You can organically share content with one another, and then people are able to reshare your content. And it just helps to amplify it. There's not necessarily a quid pro quo like those sketchy Instagram engagement pod groups. It's more natural.
Yeah. But there are a lot of services out there. We're not saying like, if you love one, you don't need to like switch over. I just think
this is just what we like.
Yeah, these are the ones we like. If you have one that you're using now and you don't like it, but yeah, just it's so much easier to have a planning service because then you can also see your grid. I think that that's a big thing with Planoly. Like, absolutely, you can see how it's all gonna like shake out and what it's gonna look like, and you can rearrange and schedule. Scheduled content, at least on Instagram, is known to perform. It generally takes like a 10% hit with engagement. But if you know that you aren't going to have the time to post live, I think it's totally worth it. So the next tip is probably Jesse's favorite tip in life. Yes. It's recycling content across platforms whenever possible. And, oh, sorry, go ahead. And I was going to say, and auto posting it. She's so excited to tell you about it. You guys, I think it's so sad when people create such great content, put so much time into it, and it just gets lost in the internet a year later. Like, it's just gone. Think about like the memes that you've been sending your friends over and over since 2012, and they're still funny. like they still resonate with you every single time. There are like those tweets that have just been around and they just get posted on every meme account and they come back every 6 months, if not faster. And they get the same engagement every time because they're funny. Only like 7% of your audience at any given time is seeing your content.
Right.
Which is like such a sad thing to think about when you think about how much time you spend making it sometimes.
But that's why you shouldn't obsess over it.
Yeah, that's why you shouldn't obsess over it. But also, when something does well, bring it back. It means that most people have not seen it. So bring it back over and over again. I'd say you could easily do it like quarterly, if not, probably not more often than quarterly. But like, if a post does well, and you don't have to like pretend it's brand new. You can say like, people loved this last time. You can like lean into recycling it, but recycle it and then also figure out how to use it again. Could you like break it up into separate posts? Can you find a different way to like use kind of like the same, like a similar, or do a similar post with like a different theme? Or
can you take old Instagram content and turn it into a reel?
Yes, exactly. Oh my gosh, that's a huge one. People are like, how do I make reels? And I go and I see that they have a ton of video. And I'm like, you have it. You have the reels. Put it up. So yes, I think that use your old content, find things so that you're not starting from scratch at all times. And you also already have the insights. You know it's going to do well. Every time you recycle good content that did well, it does well again.
Yes.
It never fails.
So let's give them our pro tips.
Yes.
Share some of the secrets. That's always our goal.
All right. Write your captions on your desktop instead of your phone if you're batching content. Writing on your phone is always just going to take you longer. And that's why Planoly is great. Get in Planoly, write them. It'll cut your time in half. And it's just so much less, it's so hard to write on your phone and then go back and copy and paste and add your hashtags and all of those things.
Yeah.
So yes, write your captions on your phone.
And to go along with that, you can do your work in batches too.
On your desktop. I said on your phone. Write your captions on your desktop.
You can batch your work too, where one day you upload a bunch of photos to Planoly.
Yep.
The next day you type your captions on your desktop. The following day, maybe you schedule all of your content or however you want to work, but you can most certainly break it out so that it's not as overwhelming.
Yeah, this is a little bit off topic, but I just mentioned hashtags and I just want to drop this in there because the most updated information on hashtags is that, so basically Instagram is now becoming more of a search engine. It's kind of like Pinterest, where, they have AI that's scanning photos and scanning content for whatever, for whatever it is. Like if it's like a white couch, it's scanning photos. So try not to lean as heavily into hashtags these days. While they'll help you, you don't need the 30 hashtags that you used to. Like if you have a pretty picture of your living room and there's a white couch, hashtag white couch, hashtag living room, hashtag Pottery Barn, whatever it is, but you don't need to spend a ton of time thinking about a bajillion hashtags that you need to use. Instagram is leaning away from the hashtags because their AI is getting so good at spotting what the photos are, like what's in the photos or what's in the content. So they're telling everyone to lean into good content, and then their back end is going to do more of the work for you.
Yeah. And then the next is to plan out your photo shoot. So a good photo shoot, I always recommend doing at least 1 to 2 photo shoots a year where it's more evergreen, meaning the photos can be used at any time during the year.
Mm-hmm.
So don't dress in a summer dress. Don't wear a turtleneck. But dress in something that you can't necessarily tell what season it is, and you're in a more neutral setting so that you can use these photos over and over again.
Yeah.
And they'll build up over time.
And then our last one is buy a preset that makes your photos look more consistent. We have one, or we have a set of presets that are available on our Etsy shop. We will share them in the show notes. They're great. I think it's a really good price for what they do. Jen and I both use them on our feeds.
It's the only preset I use.
Yeah, I mean, they're fantastic. They'll just brighten up and make your pictures look crisper, so that if you do have your own content or photos that you're taking, they just look more professional and a little bit more polished and consistent if you're struggling with that. But I think ours are fantastic. There are also other options on Etsy, and a billion other people sell them. So yeah, but ours are the best, obviously.
And if you're going through the hassle of planning out your content, which you should, track your performance.
Yes.
We've got a really great content calendar
Mhm.
tool that also has an analytics component to it.
Yep.
Where you can easily record your stats. So we'll share that. You can download it. It's free. But it's really important so that you can pay attention.
Yeah, I think you don't want to just be doing all this work and again, like throwing spaghetti at the wall and not realizing when something sticks. And so like if there's something, I don't know, maybe there's a certain type of post that you're putting out and like people, it's just not performing well, you can start to realize like, okay, this theme doesn't work. What can I replace this with? Or how do I make this more interesting or engaging for my audience? Otherwise, yeah, like you're just draining yourself creating content that's like not worth anything, which sucks.
Right. Exactly. So protect your energy and plan out your content.
Yeah.
Know what works. And if you have any questions, you can always jump on our 20-minute jumpstart.
Yeah, we will put that in the show. We have lots of links today. That's
I know.
exciting. Lots of good stuff for you guys.
Jesse, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram at Jessie B. Bernhardt. That's BERNHARDT. And my blog is jessiebarnesbernhardt@gmail.com. How about you?
You can find me at jen.nay, JENNAYE on Instagram. And I'm jennay.com. And if you're looking for the Marketing Greenhouse, we are at the Marketing Greenhouse on Instagram.
Give us a follow.
Yes, or find us on our website, www.themarketinggreenhouse.com.
Wow, you got a www like it's 1998.
Hey, I'm older than you.
Yeah, and yeah, thanks so much for joining us, guys. Send any questions our way in DMs
And if you enjoyed this, go review us on Apple Podcasts.
Yeah, talk to you soon.